Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be playing Skyfactory 5. Welcome back. Let's hop right into it. Hi guys, in between episodes I did a few things, so I moved these smelters around. I didn't really mess with the ME system. I threw a few things in there. I upgraded our dye farm because it wasn't really doing that great. I made 2 pulverizers to get us some sand so that we can get this system automatically working. So it's working pretty well. And I also just kind of expanded up here, and that's about it for what I did in between episodes. All right, everybody. So today we're going to be hopping into the Nether. So the Nether is going to be our first place that we're going to go. So the way that we get into the Nether in this mod, other than building, or we can't build the portal in this, we actually use a painting. So I'm going to make all of the things to make this painting, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I got all of the stuff to make that Nether painting, so let's make the Nether painting. And I'm actually going to use obsidian to make a little area for it. In between episodes, I made this little obsidian farm down here. It's pretty simple. All we had was our cobblestone generator down here, and I'm just putting a pipe into a fired crucible to make lava, and then putting that into a stone barrel that has water above it, which is just going to give us obsidian. So it's pretty simple. So we're just going to use this obsidian and make a little backsplash for this, and then put our painting in here. And the way that we are going to use this painting is we're actually going to jump into it. So we're going to put it down. And then the simplest way to get to the Nether is you just jump on into it. And once we get here, it lets us get an overworld painting. So we're basically just going to have a painting that lets us get back to the overworld. So we're just going to place this painting down and jump right into it and go back to the overworld. So the reason why I wanted to make the Nether portal is so that we can make something called an alloy furnace, or an alloy smelter. The alloy smelter is basically just going to help us auto smelt stuff and make it a lot faster than our regular furnace is going to be. And to make this alloy smelter, we're going to need some dark steel, which the only way we're going to be able to get dark steel is by making this primitive alloy smelting, which takes grains of infinity and deep slate. So the only place we're going to get deep slate, and the way that we're gonna make grains of infinity, is by going to the Nether and getting it. So I'm gonna go to the Nether, get a few of those deep slate blocks, and I'm gonna get some blaze spawners just so that we can have some spawners to make our mob farm a little bit better, and I'll be right back. So before we go to the Nether, I'm going to make something that allows us to fly. So first we need to make a solidifier from cyclic, and we need to make a melter from cyclic just to make the flying thing that we want to make. It's going to work pretty similar to creative flying, except we're going to have to jump instead of just pressing spacebar and flying around. So I'm going to make this solidifier, and I'm going to make a melter. They're both pretty simple. And there's our melter, and there's our solidifier. So the thing that we are going to be making is called, so we're going to be making the anti-gravity charm. So this is going to give us that flight that we want. It's going to ignore gravity and allow us to walk on air. So it's going to be pretty simple for us. We have the amethyst that we need. We're going to make this crystallized amber and an emerald, and we just made the melter to make liquid slime. And then we need to make liquid magma, and it takes gold, a block of redstone, a fire charge. So this is going to be pretty simple for us. So I'm going to make this, and I'll be right back. Hey guys, I'm back. I didn't realize that my recording software wasn't recording. So in between episodes and in that short break, I made the anti-gravity charm. It's basically going to give us infinite flight. I also made a hammock so that we can have daytime and nighttime, and then I made a nether portal, which we make a painting and then we jump right through it, and I made a little area for that. And I also didn't do anything to our ME system. I upgraded our RGB die so that we are actually getting a lot of it now, and we're getting a lot of resources. And then I just kind of expanded the base also. So the things that we're going to want to get into today are making a reactor, since we are getting a lot of uranium and we're getting a lot of coal. So we have almost a stack of coal blocks, and we have 196 coal. I threw a stack upgrader into this chest just so we could stack things. And we also have 121 uranium and then 12 uranium blocks. So we're going to make a big reactor to solve our power problem. And we're also going to get into wireless power. So the mod that we're going to use for wireless power is Flux Networks, which is pretty simple. You use flux plugs to basically make your power go into the system, and then you use flux points to take power out of your system. And then the controller is basically going to be where you set up your network, and then we're going to make a basic flux storage too. So another thing that we're going to do while we are waiting for that redstone to smelt is we are going to make an alloy furnace. So the alloy furnace is basically just going to help us smelt our resources a little faster. And the way that we make the steel for it, the dark steel, is we're going to need a primitive alloy smelter. So that's going to take deep slate and grains of infinity. So we have deep slate. We actually make the pebbles inside of this. So we have deep slate pebbles, and then we can just turn them straight up into deep slate. And the way that we get the grains of infinity that we're going to need is we're just going to hold flint in our offhand, and then we're going to hold some deep slate, and then it's basically going to give us grains of infinity. Also, this happened while I was recording. Alright, and there is our alloy smelter. So we're going to need a capacitor too to make this, which capacitor should be pretty easy for us to make. So capacitor, and we just need some gold nuggets, and then we need some redstone, and there's our capacitor. So throw a capacitor in here, and basically this is just going to smelt things quickly for us. We can throw a chest on top of it and put it as an in-out, and then we just have to throw our ores in there as we need them. So let's say we need some iron, and we're just going to throw that chest on top and then configure it to push-pull and furnace only. And then all we have to do is throw our iron in the top, and it'll start smelting our iron for us. And then it'll just put it right back in the top. So the next thing that we're going to do is get into Flux Networks. So let's start making these flux things. And there we go, guys. We have our Flux Network. So we have the plug, the point, the controller, and the flux storage. So first, let's put down this controller. So the first thing we're going to do is create a network. So we're just going to name it Timmy's Network. And we're going to make it yellow. So basically this is going to be our network, and this is where we're going to see it. And then we'll turn on chunk loading, because why not? And we can actually do wireless charging. So let's just turn on wireless charging for our entire body. There's no reason not to. So that whenever we get an item that needs to be charged, we can just charge it. And then we'll throw this flux storage right on top of our controller, and whenever we start filling it with power, it'll start connecting. So the next thing that we're going to get into is big reactors. So to start this off, it's going to be a multi-block structure, and I think I want to build it on this top floor right here. So I'm going to get the stuff that we need for it. We're going to need a power tap, we're going to need some reactor casing, an access port, and we're going to need some fuel rods and a controller, or a terminal. And I'll be right back. All right. I think I have the resources necessary to make this reactor. So we're just going to make it a 5x5. So here's going to be our 5x5, and then we're going to go up 5. And we are going to basically have these control rods in the, or these rods in the middle, and we are going to cool them. So right now we're going to just use water to cool them, but the quickest or the easiest way that we can cool them is by using, or the most efficient way is by using something called meat blocks, which for a matter of fact, we can actually take our cows out that we just got a little bit ago and get that those blocks of meat to cool our reactor. But for right now, we're going to fill it with water and cool these control rods down. And boom, guys, just like that, we have our reactor. So let's throw some uranium in here to add fuel to it, and then we can turn it on. So this reactor is going to be generating quite a lot of power. So let's hook it into our system. So the way that we're going to hook it into our system is by putting the flex plug right there and clicking on our network. And then we don't have to use all of those pesky cables that we were using earlier. And we can just instead break one of these and put a flex point on the side of it, and then click on Timmy's network, and it should be providing power. So we'll just go up here and make sure that it is making power to provide for us. So it looks like that's going into our system, and our buffer is going to be 29,000. So since we're not using power down there right now, we're actually not going to be making any power either. So in between episodes, I'll make some more flex plugs and plug those dynamos into our system. And that'll be it for today's episode. Hey guys, thank you for watching today's episode. Make sure to like, subscribe, and go leave a comment down below.